This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
Hey, shalom, shalom, listening audience. This is Israel United in Christ, and this is the Writings on the Wall radio show. My name is Captain Mattathias, and to my right,
Officer Obadiah,
Officer Samson,
Officer Elijah,
and I'm Officer Hezekiah.
All right. We got another show for you. What is this Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, Tallahassee, Florida. We got to go over a few topics. I'd say this, it's been an up and down week dealing with this COVID situation, especially when it comes to the state of Florida, man. I think next week, they go back to school next week, am I correct?
Yes, sir, next week.
Right, there's a lot of, apprehension right now. The teachers are nervous.
really don't make no sense. Like, we shut down the whole country because the COVID-19 was catching a few people, and now we've multiplied that number by something, and we're still going to open up the schools.
You big dummy.
My point exactly. It don't make any sense, and it's like it's an agenda behind this. Like they're basically trying to give it to a lot of people, and this is where we got to open our eyes and realize the signs of the times are right before our eyes. We got to wake up and turn to God's laws, and if we don't start doing that right now, we're going to be a part of them 2/3 that ain't going to make it.
Right.
and you know what's sad about what you're just saying in reference of all what they are planning? With all this planning, they didn't say anything to the teachers.
Because you're in the education field, right?
Right. They don't say much in reference of the preparation, how to prevent of not getting anything. All they try to do is shove the teachers back out there along with.
So hold on a second. So you mean to tell me, officer, they didn't have like a like a COVID-19 guideline of the new precautions and things of that nature?
Well, what they say, they're making it a smaller class. They're gonna create smaller classes. However, they don't give things like mask. You have to provide your own mask.
Wait a second. You got to pay for your own mask.
That's what they told me.
Wow. I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
And then how you could have those glass thing,
like a shield.
Your shield.
Right.
Anything like that, if you want, you have to get it yourself.
Damn.
You big dummy.
What about the hand sanitizer when you first walk inside the door?
From what I don't know if things would change from what the principal was saying. He says that the only thing that they provide would be like for as far as in the front of the school, entering and stuff like that. They will check temperature and all this stuff. But as far as your own classroom, you over that.
Wow.
What's crazy is they've already had schools to open and have failures with this virus, and they're still going to open up.
When you say failures, what do you mean?
Like in South Florida, they had a school that opened, and I think I read an article where the teacher was saying like she knew it was going to happen. She said one of the students out of her class popped up with it, so her and about a couple dozen other people had to be on quarantine because
so they shut down the whole school, or what do they do?
As of right then, those people in her class were shut down, and that's what they had to do. In South Georgia, they had to shut down the whole school because of they tried to open up the school, and one of the kids recorded the hallway how they wasn't doing the separation, and the whole school had to shut down because COVID-19 pop up. They know what's going to happen. It's an airborne virus. It's crazy. And they still put us in these conditions to where we know what's the outcome going to be. It ain't like it's hidden. It's open. We're watching the numbers steady rise. That's crazy.
Sheesh. Well, that's America for you, man. There's nothing new. What else is new? All right, let's go into the first article. Read that.
This is newsbreak.com. Steve Bannon, we build the wall. Organizers arrested, charged with defrauding donors.
Okay, it says, scroll back to the top. It says Steve Bannon is the organizer of We Build the Wall. So what were they doing? They were what? It was like a GoFundMe type thing. They were raising funds to build the so-called wall to keep our brothers and sisters Issachar,
right,
all right, out of America. Issachar is the so-called Mexicans today. Now let's scroll down. All right, read that.
Steve Bannon, a former advisor to President Trump, was among 4 suspects arrested. Prosecutors claim that Kovich Bannon, Andrew Barlato, and Timothy Shea took money from themselves as the campaign raised upward of $25 million.
Right, $25 million. So they robbed these people, all right? And that's what they get anyway. They're trying to build a damn wall to keep our people out. The last time I checked, and I know the historian over here, Officer Obadiah, he likes to do his research. Last time I checked, it was our people who inhabited these parts in the first place.
That's right.
That's
All right,
right.
give me the book of Jeremiah 50 real quick.
Bring it out.
Just to show you that this is prophecy. 51, I'm sorry. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 12. Watch this.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 12. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon.
It says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Where are we living in today? This is Babylon. This is the daughter of Babylon, the United States of America. Right. Read on.
Make the watch strong.
They said, make the what?
Make the watch strong.
Come on.
Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon.
That's the thing about it. They want to set this wall. They want to build this wall and set the watchmen, but they don't understand the judgment that God has in store for America. There's nothing they can do about that thing. Officers, you got anything on that?
Yeah, that's crazy that you get to call alien in your own land. What you are saying, Cap, you are 100% correct. Because last time I remember, this whole continent, like when you go from Texas, this whole Texas area, they used to live there.
Right.
And now, not only they push them down, they take that land, and now they're calling them alien. These Mexicans need to go back. No, man, you need to go. Actually, I can't even say for you to go back. You don't have a place to go back to.
That's right. That's right.
Them demons.
Vagabonds, man. Vagabonds. Actually, give me that. Give me the definition of a vagabond real quick. What is a vagabond?
Vagabond, a person who wanders from place to place without a home or job.
Without a what?
Home or job.
Just like the officer said, that's the so-called, what's that, Caucasian, American, European today. They don't have any homeland. All they do is rape, rob, murder, and steal. That's all they do. That's all they do. The devil is the one that raised them. Understand that.
Right.
Now, go back to the article. I want to touch a point real quick. All right.
The indictment alleges that Bannon received more than $1 million through a nonprofit that he then used for personal expenses and to pay Kovich.
Yes, for personal expenses. And that's what they get. All right. They thought to do evil, and now it turned back on them. Okay. Before we move on, y'all got anything? I want to go to the next article. Anybody got anything on that?
No, we good.
All right, next article. What we got? Yeah, man. So once again, we see injustice against our people. Read that for me, man.
This is KSDK.com. I can't breathe. Georgia man dies in custody after hours of begging for help. Surveillance video from the jail shows Kevel Wingo collapsing multiple times as nurses and deputies ignore his cry for help.
Scroll down. Read.
Cobb County, Georgia. And 11 Alive reveals investigations have uncovered a video of a man detained by Cobb County Sheriff's Office who was repeatedly heard by staff screaming that he could not breathe, while deputies and medical personnel watched him slowly die.
Y'all gotta understand the hate, man. Give me Jeremiah 21 real quick. Jeremiah chapter 21, bro.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 21 and verse 7. And afterward, saith the Lord, I will deliver Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his servants, and the people, and such as are left in this city.
Now I want to show you something. The reason why we're going here is because when we read the book of Jeremiah, what is this going into? This is going into the Babylonian captivity, okay? When Babylon sieged Jerusalem, all right? Now, present day, 2020, once again, you have the Israelites living in Babylon, all right? So it's a direct parallel, showing you the same things that happened before time to happen in this day and age as well. All right, read on.
From the pestilence, from the sword.
From the what?
The sword.
From the sword. All right, that's going into what? That's going into guns. All right, that's going into Esau, the so-called white man persecuting us on the daily. Read on.
And from the famine in the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
King of who?
Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
Read.
And into the hand of their enemies.
Come on.
And into the hand of those that seek their life.
That's the thing about it. It says the hand of those that seek their life. Meaning what? They are seeking for us to die. To the point where what? It say that while deputies and medical personnel watched him slowly die. Last time I checked, isn't the medical personnel supposed to save a life?
Right.
That's what the medical personnel is supposed to do. But read that again in Jeremiah.
And into the hand of those that seek their life.
Come on.
And he shall smite them with the edge of the sword.
You see that thing right there?
That's it.
God would deliver us into the hands of those that seek our life. Meaning what? They don't care if we live or die.
Right.
All right. Their goal and their purpose is to what? Is to cause pain and destruction for the black and Hispanic man.
That's right.
All right. Read this all the way through.
He shall not spare them, neither have pity, nor have mercy.
Nor have mercy. It says he should not spare them, neither have pity, nor have mercy. To sit there and watch a man suffocate to death, not being able to breathe, you are a monster. That's exactly what you are. You're a damn demon, man.
What you're saying is very true. Our people need to understand the true nature of this devil we are talking about.
Right.
Give me Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 27, going along with exactly what Cap just says. But guess what? We're going to have the last laugh. Read that for me.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 9 and verse 27. Therefore, thou deliverest them into the hand of their enemies.
See, God deliver us into the hand of our enemies. Who is our enemies today? The so-called white man.
Right.
The so-called Chinese man. The so-called Arab man.
Right.
All of them. Read.
Who vexed them. And in the time of their trouble, when they cried unto thee, thou heardest them from heaven.
That's us today. We are crying unto the Most High God because of what we are going through. Every day you hear somebody else got killed. Somebody else got robbed. Whatever that's you see going on right now, we are crying. Read.
And according to thy manifold mercies, thou gavest them saviors.
You see that? God gave us saviors. Your saviors are your prophets of today who's giving you a way out, telling you, stop following these demons, stop following these other nations that teach you nothing but lies, and come back to your true nationality. Finish that up. That's right.
Who saved them out of the hand of their enemies.
You see that? That's why we are here. That's why that's why you see these prophets are standing up in their feet, try to wake up the 12th tribe.
That's right.
Hey, give me that in Psalm chapter 149, verse 1. I want you to understand that we got to change our way of thinking. My whole life I was taught that, all we got to do is believe on Jesus and things going to change. Listen what the Bible says. Read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 149 and verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song.
Do what?
Sing unto the Lord a new song.
So what we've been doing ain't what we're supposed to be doing. The Bible says we got to sing to the Lord a new song. Cause we haven't been teaching keep God's law. We haven't been teaching that we have enemies. The church let anybody come in. You could be a homosexual. You could be a white man. They let everybody come in as long as they're paying tithes and giving offering. So what the Bible is telling us, we got to sing to the Lord a new song. Let's see something. Read verse 7.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen.
That's all of those nations who are not in the so-called 12 tribes in the 12 tribes of Israel. Read.
And punishments upon the people.
Read.
To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute upon them the judgment written. His honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord.
The God said that's the honor that he's going to give all his saints, to punish those people who are punishing us. The church is not telling us that we have enemies. Therefore, we don't wish punishment upon nobody. That's what God is going to do. That's the type of God we serve.
Now, do me a favor. Go back to the article real quick. All right, so we see an image of our brother being transferred to the infirmary in a wheelchair with handcuffs. Now, scroll back up a little bit for me. Scroll back up. All right. Read that a short time later.
A short time later, the infirmary's phone rang again. This time, it was from Natalie Chance, a nurse in charge of administering medicine to inmates.
Read.
He's like lying on the floor screaming. He's sweating. He says he's got abdominal pain. He can't fake this, Chance said to Burton. Multiple inmates also witnessed Wingo vomit and complain about an ulcer, which is a painful sore that can develop in the intestines or the stomach. If left untreated, it can tear and allow bile to leak into the abdomen.
You see that thing right there? So they watching him vomit all over himself. They watching him in agonizing pain, but they don't do anything. All right. Keep reading.
Investigators interviewed about a dozen inmates who were detained with Wingo. All but one of them believed Wingo was in severe pain and overheard him complain to deputies he was experiencing abdominal issues. Some of them heard Wingo specifically mention his ulcer. Within a couple of seconds, he just broke out in a big sweat, said Billy Smith, a fellow inmate. Deputies looking at us like he's just detoxing. We're like, no, you need to come get him.
Read.
An inmate named Robert Ward said he didn't think deputies responded quick enough. What happened is the guy was in pain and nobody took him serious. He was laying on the ground crying for help, and no one took him seriously, said Ward.
Hey, you know what this reminds me of, Officer Obadiah? Think about when they used to experiment on our sisters back during the time of slavery. You understand that? Mm-hmm. That whole medical practice of gynecology. All right, that came from what? Operating on our people. Now, the reason why they're doing that, because when it comes to us, we are known to have a high tolerance of pain. Right. You understand? They don't see us as humans. You understand? Oh, he'll be all right. They don't even treat us as human beings. Give me that in Deuteronomy, 28.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 50.
Bring it on.
A nation of fierce countenance.
A fierce countenance. All right, it says a nation of fierce countenance. Read.
Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Nor show favor to the young. That's it on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, yes. So that's what we living in the hands of our enemies. God prophesied as a result of sin, we would see these atrocities, these tragedies, all of this affliction occur to the children of Israel.
You know what? One thing that I really pray that you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American out there listening, what we are doing, we're not trying to bring fear to you. We're not trying to bring riots onto you. What we try to bring is awareness.
Right.
Know who your enemies are.
Right.
And once you know who your enemies are, then the next step, how would you know who your enemies if you don't know who you are? Right. A lot of us, we're calling ourselves all kind of names. Oh, I am a Christian. That's my nationality. I am a Jehovah's Witness, knowing darn well you're not. guess what? That's what we're telling you, your true, the true nature of the beast. So if you know the enemy, then you know who you are.
Somebody come and look at this.
Hey,
Look
real
at this.
quick, before we move on, I know we're about to cut the commercial break. Read this for me. Give me Proverbs 22 and start at 22. Watch this, because in that situation, our brother, man, hey, that's a horrible way to go out. He was helpless. He was crying. Nobody listened to him, and he passed away. But watch what the scriptures say right here. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 22.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 22.
Come on.
Rob not the poor, because he is poor.
Uh-huh.
Neither oppress the afflicted in the gate.
Right. So it says, rob not the poor because he is poor, meaning there's a reason why the Most High put him in that situation, right? So it says, don't, like the white men did. They laid in wait and they were opportunists. Right. When they saw us fall, when they saw us wounded, they said, okay, now it's our turn. Okay, now it's time to get them. All right, and we're still living in that. We're still playing out before our eyes on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
Read this again for me.
Rob not the poor, because he is poor. Neither oppress the afflicted in the gate.
Read on.
For the Lord will plead their cause.
You see that thing? That's why you don't take advantage of the poor. Who are the poor? Give me that Isaiah 14:32. Who are the poor according to the scriptures? Okay. Is it everybody who's not financially stable? No. Let's find out what God is talking about right here. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 32.
Come on.
What shall one then answer the messengers of the nation? That the Lord have founded Zion.
Zion is Jerusalem.
That's right.
All right. Zion is God's people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
Read.
And the poor
And the what?
And the poor
Come on.
of his people.
Of whose people?
His people.
God's people are the Israelites. All right. Understand that. Let's go back. Proverbs 22. Finish that out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 22.
23.
23. For the Lord will plead their cause and spoil the soul of those that spoil them.
You see that? God is going to do what? Role reversal. Complete role reversal.
That's right.
All right, so you wanted to afflict God's people. So he's saying, hey, the same way you wanted to afflict God's people, now you're going to get the same exact thing.
Give me Sirach chapter 4, verse 1. To show you God will check you for afflicting the poor. Read that for me.
The book of Sirach, chapter 4 and verse 1. My son, defraud not the poor of his living.
You see that? It says, my son, defraud not the poor of his living. Read.
And make not the needy eyes to wait long. Make not an hungry soul sorrowful. Neither provoke a man in his distress.
The scriptures say neither to provoke a man in his distress. This brother was in distress. He was dying. Read.
Add not more trouble to an heart that is vexed. And defer not to give to him that is in need.
Verse 4.
Reject not the supplication of the afflicted, neither turn away thy face from a poor man.
That's what they did to him. They turned their face away from him. But guess what God will do to them? Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Turn not away thine eyes from the needy, and give him none occasion to curse thee. For if he curse thee in the bitterness of his soul, his prayer shall be heard of him that made him.
That's the poor you're hearing right there. God says he will hear their prayer when you are afflicting them. That's what Esau's doing to us, man. Go ahead, Cap.
Yeah, read that. Jeremiah 17 and 18. Then we'll go to commercial break.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse 18.
Come on.
Let them be confounded that persecute me.
Right. So this is Jeremiah saying to the enemies, he said, let them be confounded that persecute me. Come on.
But let not me be confounded.
Come on.
Let them be dismayed, but let not me be dismayed. Bring upon them the day of evil.
Come on.
And destroy them with double destruction.
With double destruction. Right. So they caught us at a what? Our weak point, right?
Right.
They afflicted us, but God is saying in their time, all right, when it's time for you to be poor, when it's time for you to be lowly, you're going to get double the affliction. Thus saith the Lord.
That's right.
All right. So yeah, we're going to jump to a commercial break real quick. We'll be right back with Writings on the Wall radio show.
a lot. Told you before that I've been through a lot.
All right. We are back with the Writings on the Wall radio show. All right, go ahead and read that, soldier.
This is Greensboro.com. Former Greensboro police officer claims he was fired for speaking out on TikTok about George Floyd. The department says that's not true.
Of course they're going to say it's not true, okay? Let's read the article.
Greensboro. A former Greensboro police officer says he was fired after speaking out via social media about what happened to George Floyd. But Greensboro Police Department contends that was not the reason for the officer's termination. Draquay D. Williams, 29, who refers to himself only as Officer Williams on TikTok, a video-based social media platform, posted a short clip of himself in uniform on May 27th.
All right, scroll down. All right, so we got a black male, 29 years old, works for the police department. Now, he speaks his mind. He voices his own opinion about the George Floyd situation. This is one thing I find real funny. They say in America you have free speech, right? Mm-hmm. I always think about what Nick Cannon, Ice Cube, Deshaun Jackson. All right, if it was really free speech, why are they being condemned? Why are they being demonized in the media? Why is that? And now this brother... not a celebrity, right? Just works for the force.
Right.
He says his sense or whatever he wants to say about the George Floyd situation, and he loses his job.
Wow. That free speech is only for Esau.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Hey,
That's
Cat,
all.
what you got to think about, that's the same punishment the police got for killing Mike Brown. Just got fired. That's I don't see how they, that's crazy.
So you're saying if the black man even talks about injustice in America, he gets fired. But the white cop that actually carries out the injustice in America, he gets the same punishment.
The exact same punishment. That's crazy.
And you see, and you can they watching you because they said he spoke out on social media, so they watching your social media page.
Right.
You ain't free for nothing. You ain't free for nothing.
What's crazy is they want you to stand behind this country when this country is so ungodly. Give me Leviticus 5:1. We're going to see if they really, because they make you say the pledge and all of this stuff, one nation under God. Let's see if they actually stand behind God. What God laws say? Read that for me.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 5 and verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, it is a witness whether he have seen or unknown of it. If he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Now that's the word of the Most High God, but he got fired because he did exactly what the scripture said. He spoke out against what was wrong that he witnessed amongst his the blue shield, or where they stand behind each other, amongst his brothers in uniform, and he got fired for it. This is not a godly country. That's not a godly organization. Nothing about America stands for the Most High God and what God stands for.
You know what? Like Cap was saying earlier in reference of this country is not free speech, and believe it or not, they believe in their democracy, saying the first that's considered the First Amendment. You got the 10th Amendment, Bill of Rights, free speech. That's one of them, and here you are, you can't say anything, or let's just say. The gun thing that they're talking about, another form of amendment that they passed that giving people the right to bear arms. Guess what? You have guns on you. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna kill you. Like when you walk in government building, you would think that you can't come with guns in those areas. Uh-huh. They walk in those areas with their guns on, carry it on them, and then you, in the other end, you have guns on you in your car with registration showing that it's not a gun without a permit. You still get killed or get shot at.
Of course, because this is not the land for the Israelite man and woman. Like Bishop said, give me that definition. There's a such thing as a citizen and a denizen. Okay, first give me the definition for citizen. Okay. Citizen definition. All right, we're going to get the difference between the two because y'all bringing compelling arguments. The brother, He did nothing wrong. He recorded a TikTok video on social media speaking about the injustice of what happened to George Floyd. The whole country saw it. Right. They murdered the brother. They murdered him. Now he speaks about it and he loses his job. All right. But just like Officer Elijah bring out, the cop that murdered Mike Brown in the streets, he gets the same punishment. So we gotta realize that there's no way that we're considered as equals to the white man in this country. There's no way. Right. Read that.
Citizens, a legally recognized subject or national of a state or commonwealth, either native or naturalized.
All right, so it says either native or naturalized. That's funny because there's no way that Esau, the so-called white man today, could be claimed as a citizen. Right. Because they do not derive from this land, nor are they native of the land. Right. Okay. Now, give me the definition of denizen.
Bring it out.
Denizen, an inhabitant or occupant of a particular place.
Right. An inhabitant or an occupant of a particular place. Read the next one.
A foreigner allowed certain rights in the adopted country.
Right. That's what we are treated as here in America. Right. As denizens. It says a foreigner allowed certain rights, meaning what? They allow us to vote. Right. But when it comes down to the justice system, we're not going to treat you equally. So that's showing us what? That's showing us that we are not treated as citizens here in America. Right. We are treated as denizens. Now, I got a precept. Let's go to Psalms 50 and verse 18.
Bring it on.
All right. Psalms chapter 50, verse 18.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 18.
Bring it on.
When thou sawest a thief, then thou consented with him.
Right. So America, right? When they see a thief or a murderer, right? That murders our people cold-blooded in the streets. They consent with him, meaning what? You know what? We're going to fire you, bet, but we're also going to start a GoFundMe. Now you're going to be a millionaire for what you did to that denizen, right? Read on.
And has been partaker with adulterers.
Right, partakers with all types of sins, okay? How America got down with the mafia, you understand, with the mob. That's how Las Vegas, all these other places got built up through illegal activity. Right. They knew about it, but they did what? They turned a blind eye to it, right?
Exactly what they do.
Okay, but when it comes to the black and Hispanic, do we ever get the blind eye turned? Absolutely not. Nope. Absolutely not. We're not looked at as equal citizens in their eyes. Okay.
Believe it or not, that's God's judgment on the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American. God is dealing with us harshly than anybody else. Why? Because the laws was given unto us, and we ignore that thing. Read that for me.
The book of Psalms, chapter 147 and verse 19.
Bring it on.
He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Jacob are the 12 sons of Israel. God showeth his words unto Jacob. Read.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
His statutes and judgment for breaking God's laws unto Israel. That's why when you steal in this land, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, you get jacked up. Right. When you kill somebody, you get jacked up for that thing. Right. So God is not playing with you. So you understand. As for the other nation, finish that for me.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
That's why you see they doing all these wicked stuff and get away with it. But guess what? Not for long. Their judgment day is coming.
That's right. And also, the Bible speaks of they make laws for their strength. That's how they get their strength, because they make their own laws. Give me that in the Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 11. Watch this. They make their own laws. That's how they got control over us. But you so-called blacks and Spanish and Native American, we got to keep God's laws. That's our strength. Right. For the Most High God can fight for us. Let's read that.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice.
That's what the so-called white man do. They strength is the law of justice. Read.
For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth.
Read.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
That's what they do. They lie in wait for you who? So-called blacks and Hispanics and Native Americans.
That's right.
To find you slipping. If you break any one of these laws, we got the right to kill you. We got the right to lock you up for, 10 to 15 years if you steal something. That's their laws. That's their strength. Read.
Because he is not for our turn.
Wait. He is not for our turn. Now check this out. In that article, you had a police officer, right? He works for the force, the police department. Now, as soon as he made a TikTok video speaking about the injustice of our people, who are our people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they said, fire his behind, because why? He is not for our turn. You see that thing right there?
Right. Praises. Keep reading.
And he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraided us with our offending the law.
They go again, offending the law. Read.
And objective to our infamy, the transgressing of our education.
That's it right there. That's it right there. The same thing that the brother going through right now.
Hey, let's go back to Psalms real quick. All of it goes together. Start at verse, what was that? Chapter 50, read verse 19 and 20. All right, Officer Sampson brung out going into judgment, meaning the law is their strength. All right, judgment goes forth for them. But when it comes to us, no. It's the total opposite. We get the short end of the stick every time. Watch this.
Verse 19, Cap.
Yes.
The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and verse 19.
Bring it out.
Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit.
Right. As soon as they say that, this black man or this black woman is no longer going to stand for our lie, what do? Now they got to frame them. Now they got to start speaking all type of evil. Now they got to set us up. Read on.
Thou sittest and speaketh against thy brother.
You see that thing? They sit and speak against thy brother. All right? That's our wicked twin brother.
That's right.
His name is Esau. And he's a damn devil. You understand? Read verse 20 again.
Verse 20. Thou sittest and speaketh against thy brother.
Read.
Thou slanderest thy own mother's son.
Y'all don't understand how heavy that thing is right there. Yes, the so-called whites and blacks, we come from the same mother, you understand, the same father, but one is wicked as hell and the other one is righteous.
Right.
All right, let's go to Isaiah 59 real quick, speaking of that judgment. Speaking of that, the brother, the police officer, he was disgruntled and upset about what happened to George Floyd, which is totally understandable. All right, but we got to understand this. The reason why we not getting justice is of our own doing. We got to understand that first and foremost. Start at verse, and this is why. Start at verse 4. When we had our own land, when everything was set up the way God wanted it to be set up, we didn't want to do right. Okay? So that's why this is happening to us. Start at verse 4. Watch this.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 59 and verse 4.
Come on.
None calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth.
Right. When we had our own land, nobody wanted to do the right thing. Nobody wanted to judge the fatherless. Nobody wanted to judge the widow. We wanted to rob the people, be lascivious, all manners of wickedness. Read on.
They trust in vanity and speak lies.
Read.
They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity.
Right. That's our people. Jump down to verse 7.
Verse 7.
Come on.
Their feet run to evil.
You see that? Our feet run to evil. Instead of trying to get away, separate ourselves, we run to the evil. Read.
And they make haste to shed innocent blood.
Right. Because what we going to read next in another article going into an 11-year-old girl who actually stood against gun violence was murdered in a drive-by by her own people. Wow. You understand? We're going to get to that after this. Read on.
Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity.
Read.
Wasting and destruction are in their paths.
Now it says wasting and destruction is in our path. Meaning what? Yes, the Most High God is sending these nations against us to destroy us for our sins. Read verse 9.
Verse 9.
Come on.
Therefore is judgment far from us.
You see that thing? The reason why the law is their strength and the reason why we don't get judgment is because of our sins.
Yes.
All right? Read that again.
Therefore is judgment far from us.
Come on.
Neither does justice overtake us.
Why we be marching in the streets? No justice, no peace. No. Keep God's laws.
That's right.
That's what you got to do. You got to keep God's laws. Right. You are not going to get justice in a land that's not yours. Understand that thing, man. All right, so yeah, I wanted to touch on that article about the young girl, man. I saw this earlier in the week. Next article. Read that.
11-year-old girl who starred in anti-gun violence video killed in drive-by shooting.
You see the irony in that, bro? A young little sister trying to do the right thing, bro. She starred in an anti-gun video, and she ends up being a statistic of it's horrible, bro. And that's the thing about it. We want to jump on the white man, but we got to clean ourselves up first, man.
That's right.
We got to clean ourselves up. Let's read this article.
An 11-year-old girl who once starred in anti-gun violence video has been killed during a drive-by shooting in Madison, Wisconsin. Fox 6 Milwaukee reports that Anissa Scott was riding in a car on Tuesday afternoon when a shooter fired into the vehicle, striking her in the head. According to the police, the driver of the car, a friend of Scott's family, was the intended target.
You see that thing right there?
Wow.
You see that thing right there? It says that bullet wasn't even supposed to be for her. It was supposed to be for the driver. All right, you gotta watch. Give me that in Sirach. Observe the time.
The book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 12.
Read.
If thou be among the indiscreet, observe the time.
Man, there's a reason for that thing right there, man. You do not want to be caught up with the wrong people because you don't know what judgment is waiting for them, man.
Right.
You understand? You got someone, that officer?
Yes. I got a story. One from Americans, they had a young boy. He was taking the drug dealer to do an exchange from drugs. Didn't know that the drug dealer was getting set up by the other drug dealers. So he was the driver, and the guy on the passenger side was the drug dealer. So they came to the neighborhood with pounds. They had pounds. So this is what they did. They got set up. The other guys were in the parking lot. It was in the projects. In the projects where all people's at. The other guy was in the parking lot, right? And as they pull up, they started shooting. The guy that attended target was the guy that told him to take him, and the other guy got shot in the head. And now his life gone. And now he went to prison and everything, and now he out of prison now. That our people, we hate each other. Like Cap said, we gotta fix ourselves first. That's what we gotta do, to fix ourselves first before we can talk about anybody else.
Let's go to the book of Jeremiah.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 9 and verse 21.
Come on.
For death is come up into our windows, and is entered into our palaces, to cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets.
You see that thing right there? That's a direct result of disobedience to the Most High God, man. It says, death has come up into our windows. It says, read what happened to our sister again.
An 11-year-old girl who once starred in an anti-gun violence video has been killed during a drive-by shooting in Madison, Wisconsin.
Read on.
Fox 6 Milwaukee's reports that Anissa Scott was riding in the car on Tuesday afternoon when a shooter fired into the vehicle, striking her in the head. According to the police, the driver of the car, a friend of Scott's family, was the intended target.
Now watch this. Go back to Jeremiah. Now remember what we read in Sirach 27, right? When it said, when you're among the indiscreet, observe the time. Watch this. Jump up and read verse 3 and 4.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 3.
Actually, 4 and 5. Watch this.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 4. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor.
It says, take heed every one of his neighbor. Read.
And trust ye not in any brother.
You can't trust everybody.
Right.
You understand? How do you know who's righteous and who's not, right? How do you know who's a man of God and who's not? By their works, by their actions. Okay? Read on.
For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders.
Walk with slanders. For example, they may say, let's say if they was dealing dope, oh, I'm not doing that no more. They'll tell you, oh, I'm done with that. You've been staying in trouble? Yeah. But you don't know what they do in their own personal business, in their own time. Right. You understand? Read.
And they will deceive everyone his neighbor.
Come on.
And will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies, and weary themselves to commit iniquity.
Right, weary themselves to commit iniquity. Read.
Thine habitation is in the midst of deceit.
Mm-hmm.
Through deceit, they refuse to know me.
Right, they refuse to follow after God. That's why, just like Officer Obadiah said earlier, man, we the ones who are standing up for righteousness. You understand? Right. It ain't the Christian church. Right. It ain't Islam. It definitely ain't the people in the streets.
Bring it up.
You understand? It's obvious if you're not keeping God's laws, if you're not observing the Sabbath, if you're not wearing fringes, not growing your beard, eating crib pork and lobster, you hate God. You understand? Right. It says, and it's not that they're doing this, how can I say, ignorantly. It says they refuse to know me. Right. All right, those are the people who want nothing to do with the Most High God. And because of that, let's read verse 21 again, bro.
For death is come up into our windows, and is entered into our palaces.
Read.
To cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets.
And the young man from the streets. Hey, so we got to understand what the only option for the black and Hispanic man and woman is to turn back to the Father, man.
That's right.
All right, we got to forsake these lascivious, these wicked ways. We got to overcome. Okay, officers, you got anything?
Go to Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6.
Bring it on.
Because like Cap went over, we gotta learn God's commandments. We gotta turn away from our wicked way because our way is not right. Our ways is not right. We got to come back to keep God's laws and statutes and commandments and start living. Start living again. Let's read that.
The book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6. My people.
Who?
My people.
God's people. You so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native American. You are an Israelite according to this Bible. Read.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
You destroyed. You killing your brother. You killing your brother. You destroy for a lack of knowledge. Read.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
So you reject God's knowledge, you reject God's laws and statutes and commandments, he going to reject you. You so-called blessed and Hispanics and Native American. Read.
Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Yes, you forgot the Most High God commandments. Read.
I will also forget thy children.
And God said he will also forget thy children. So you got to, it's time to wake up. Wake up, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. Right. And start living again. That's
all right. So that's the end of today's show. Once again, this is Israel United in Christ, and this is the Writings on the Wall radio show. My name is Captain Mattathias, and to my right,
Officer Obadiah,
Officer Sampson,
Officer Elijah,
and I'm Officer Hezekiah.
All right, Lord's will next week. Same time, same station. All right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.